Welcome back. Another episode of The Royal Code. You know, it's a king to a prince. Hope everybody's enjoying themselves, enjoying the summer. We definitely are. So, how you doing?
How we feeling, chat? I'm good,
Yeah.
Pops. I'm good. I just been, working, staying on that grind, trying to get this content all together. So just trying to stay motivated on that. So what you been up to?
So how's it coming?
It's good. It's just like it's a lot that really goes into like because now I'm at the point where I can just like make the type of content I want. I'm not really too focused on like trying to get views or anything like that. So I could just really put a lot of time into it. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
just trying to work on getting all like the green screen, getting the backgrounds that I want, getting like those little details that I feel like I would appreciate when I'm like seeing content. So just trying to get all those like those nooks and crannies out the way. But that's really all it is.
Now, are you, as you going through this like type of journey, are you filming it also?
For the most part, yeah, because it's kind of gonna be like a in real life my career. So you kind of gonna just like see that like that walkthrough from like where you like building your character to like being able to add VC and different skill points, the attributes. It'll be broken down a little bit more like in the videos and stuff like that. But that's kind of like a rough draft idea of what it would look like.
Okay, that's cool. That's real cool. Yeah, so
What you been up to
just
though,
keep
Bob?
grinding. Um, soreness. That's what
Yeah.
I've been up to. Yeah, I've been in the dungeon, man. I've been, just working out nonstop. Um, each week I increase sets. Like right now, I'm at. Last week I was at 8 for 10. This week I'm at 10 for 10. So I'm doing like this German volume training, basically where it's like I'll take 15 different exercises and uh I'll break them up into three. So let's say if I'm doing like back, legs. Yesterday I did back, legs, and shoulders. So I have
Mm,
three different exercises for each body part, and I'll do all of those 10 for 10. And then I have my
okay.
warm up, which would be like, pull ups, dips, burpees, just like normal warm up.
Mm,
I'll do 3 sets of 20 of those. And then at the end, I do something where it's just basically, I just like take the dumbbells and I just do like skull crushers, hammer
mm,
curls. I'll do it to failure, basically. So it's a good
right.
burnout. But each day is something new, so
Mm,
it does wear and tear on you. Plus, besides work and just doing everything else. So, but other
right.
than that, it's fun. I push through because I know the results at the end, and that's I think is important. Like a lot of people look at what's going on right now, they don't really foresee what they're going to be, 6, 7 months down the line, because
True.
we want results fast. But when you just like really take your time, and I know this is redundant, but trust the process, but it's true.
Mm,
You really get to see how not only as your body and your mind develops, but spiritually, physically, mentally, you get stronger, and I'm one of those people
yeah.
now. When I, like I said, when I work out, I don't listen to music. I listen to either CT Fletcher or like a lot of
Mm,
motivational people. Especially a lot
yeah.
when I'm in the gym, I'll listen to CT Fletcher or I'll listen to TTD. They out there in Jersey. They slogan
Mm,
is "Bitch, I'd rather die." You know what I mean? Because it's like basically when you in the gym with them, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? Like be
uh,
prepared to die, but they're gonna build you back up. And I respect
mm,
that. I respect who they are and what they're doing. There's three of them, and like
okay.
that's why I like listening to either CT Fletcher or them or just different people that are working out, because you almost feel like you're right there with them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
thanks. I know what you mean.
and it motivates you, and I
Mm,
enjoy that. It's so cool that there's people like that out there on the internet You know what I mean? Like actually making that content and actually motivating and pushing people, because that's at the end of the day, that's what they're doing for themselves. So it's going to reflect on you, because we all want to look our best. We all want to feel our best, be our best, so it's one of those things, I just really appreciate
Yeah,
it though. So, but
yeah, not.
my body is sore though. I ain't gonna lie. It's sore.
Yeah. It's crazy you say that though, because like I actually like that's what really wanted to make me like tap into this like in real life my career, because I came across this trainer. I think he goes by like the corporate hooper or something like that. But basically, he gave his story about how he was like, he played ball in high school, but he wanted to like keep playing and just keep growing and progressing in the sport. And now he's like playing in some street ball leagues, making money off of that, and like starting his own company, opening his own gym. So it's just cool to see, just like you say, you could be there with these. You feel like you could be there with these people because of like the content that they bring in and they putting out. So that's real cool to see that like people can really inspire you to like just get back working out, get back playing ball, like just get back into the things that you really connected with when maybe you were younger, maybe you just like lost the passion or motivation for it. So it's cool that like people can really take this content further than just like consuming it and actually being motivated by it.
So now, what's yours? What are you actually going to be doing? I know you
Really,
said
so
you're building and going through the journey of like the same process, but what are you going to be doing?
it's really just gonna be like I'll take like a workout that I'll see like on Instagram and I'll do that workout and then that'll give me like I'll say like 2 VC or something like that and then like I'll work on that from
That's
there. Yeah, and
okay.
then I'll have a
Yeah,
and then when I have a game, I'll do like the little editing and stuff based on how I play, and then I'll let a lot of like my viewers and subscribers like kind of gauge like, all right, if I did I play good enough like this game to get like one skill point, so like now
and that's
my
something
overall,
that's good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like I'm really just trying to work on that, get that all fine tuned. But that's really the idea of it, just kind of like have like my channel, my subscribers kind of grow that career, like that street ball career for me. So that would be cool. So that's really where I'm going with it.
Well, it's at this point, son, it's past an idea because you're actually putting it to the motion. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
idea is already there and been there. So now you're actually putting it into
Right.
motion. So that's the good thing. You know what I mean? Like it's always, we get this idea, but there's a difference between people that get those ideas and they sit on it. I mean, we've all are guilty of
Right.
procrastinating with goals, but when you find your niche, when you find what's right for you, especially when you're doing something that you love, like it's your passion,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it's past that. Now it's at a point where you're putting it in motion. So I definitely can't wait to see that, support, also talk to you more about it, you know what I mean? So
Definitely.
that's
And it's also
cool though.
I want to bring like that simplified content that I know we spoke about it earlier too, just like simplifying that content a little bit more. Like a lot of people out here trying to do like, or even think that they have to do these extravagant maybe pranks or different type of schemes or skits, all that type of stuff. When it's really just like take it back to the roots of things that you love. Like I love basketball, I love 2K. I've been playing both for almost 2 decades now. That sounds crazy to say, but
Yeah.
it's just like bringing it back to those little passions that people have. Like you really don't have to do too much. You just keep it simple, keep it to the things that you like to do, and you're gonna attract that audience that likes that as well. So that's really also what I want to do with it too. Just attract that audience that really like fell in love with those days of 2K, that fell in love with that grind with like before. I don't know about you, but now I hate like most competitive gaming spaces. Like that whole landscape has changed. A lot of people aren't really playing games anymore for fun. Like that's what I really hate to see. Like as a somebody that used to be a big gamer, like I remember you used to come over, you would see like a lot of different GameCube games to Wii to Nintendo, PlayStation, all those
Yeah.
type of stuff when I would have in my room. So I was big
Yeah.
on the gaming, but it's just crazy to see like a lot of the gaming community, like a lot of people just aren't having fun anymore. It's too competitive. People are looking
It's
to make
about
money
it's
out of
become
every
so
game.
monetized now. It's become so
Yeah,
monetized.
it's practically. And it's
Yeah.
cool that people. I'm all for people making money off of gaming
Oh,
and
of course,
like
definitely.
starting their careers. Like that's even more dope. Like more power to them. But like just like those like the micro communities of like everybody doesn't have to be like a content creator when it comes to gaming or just like moving that way inside of the game. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I see a lot of weird stuff happening, like the 2K spaces, like the pay to play, pay to enter tournaments, like all that type of
Yeah,
stuff is crazy.
I had I want to say, was it last year's? I think it was last year's. One of the guys that's on my friends, one of the friends on my PS what is it, PSN?
Mhm.
Um, he basically was saying that they were running in the wreck and he was looking for people and he asked me if I wanted to run. And I'm thinking it's a normal rec game. Like, yeah, I'll run with y'all. He was like, yo, but it's $200 to get in. I'm like, well, $200 of real money? Like,
Get it
I'm
right,
not about to pay you $200. He was like, oh, but if you do,
right?
you double it if you win. I'm like, yeah, but if we don't win, and you know what I used to hate
Plus 200.
um when I did play, because it's been a while. I think it's been some months. I think maybe like 10 months since I've been on there, but um, or it might have been a little bit shorter than that. But anyway, it was like you always get into those rec games and you just thinking you're gonna get in there and work as a team, and it's just one dude that's just hogging the ball, whether he sucks or nice. If he's nice, I don't care. But if he sucks, he
Mhm.
still wants the ball. You know what I mean? So it's like that gets
Right.
frustrating. So it's one of those things where it was just like, you know
Mhm.
what? I know getting into these leagues, um, you're going to be dealing with all types of people because unless you come in with your core group where y'all work
Yeah.
together, you just out there with randoms and they basically treating you like a random, and you know what I
For real.
mean.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
what
mean, if you
I hate that from the
nice,
game.
yeah, it's things have changed, and that you made a good point before when you said about getting back to like building content that like when it first started and just being yourself. One of the biggest
Mhm.
things that I do see a lot, people follow trends. And I've been off social media now for a few
Mhm.
months because I do that every now and then. I get off of social media, but I still stay on like YouTube and areas where I have to
Yeah.
push like our podcasts or other things that I'm doing. But I notice everybody follows trends. Everybody wants to do the same thing. And then it's like, even those pranks, like if you're doing like pranking your girlfriend or your wife and y'all going back and forth, I think certain things like that is funny. But when you go into the
Yeah.
point to where it's like you're kicking over people's chairs or you're just doing stupid things, it's
Being
like
disrespectful.
you're just trying to go viral. And at this point, going
Yeah.
viral is going to be so oversaturated that nobody, if you go viral, you really have to do something so spectacular and out of the ordinary where people are going to pay attention to you. But whereas if you're just doing something, I think like in the sense of what you're doing, it's cool
Mhm.
because there's still like there's somebody that's out there that somebody will attach to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's always somebody out there that people will be like, oh, I like what he's doing, or I can relate to this, or
Mhm.
about time somebody's bringing it back to some simplicity. But you get a lot of people, and I get it. Like I said, everybody wants that fast result. It's fast money, fast
Mhm.
fame. But again, like they say, you get it fast, you lose it even faster. So yeah, that's
I
cool
think a
though.
lot of that has to do with like just that fear, and we can get into this a little bit more later, but that fear of criticism that people have, just like, oh, I gotta hop on this next trend, or people aren't gonna think that I'm like up here with the rest of these TikTokers, or I gotta drop a song with this kind of beat, or people aren't gonna think that I'm hip now. Like, you just see a lot of people just trying to ride these waves and trends that at the end of the day, if you going viral off of one thing, whether it's good or bad, it's not really that good to go viral because nobody's gonna be able to sustain that like type of viral publicity being like 10 million views every single day unless you're
Every
doing
single
something
day.
that's most likely negative because a lot of those 10 million people aren't like your core fans, your core supporters. So it's people that's gonna just be spreading negative like imagery of your name, like all those different type of slander on your name or just having their opinions. So I think it's best to just like, focus on being authentic as opposed to trying to go viral. Going viral is not going to be that recipe at the end of the day, because
Of
at the end of
course.
at the end all, the be all, you're gonna have to do something that is gonna like cross those limits that we ain't never seen before. So you got to be
Exactly.
willing to have some type of moral integrity to, like, just be able to stay true to yourself. Don't get caught up in these trends trying to be the next biggest thing. Of
Yeah. Because sometimes going viral has an adverse effect and it doesn't work out the way you want it
course.
to. You know what I mean? And you see a lot of people like you see so many people that have gone viral and might have had 10, 15 million views on some videos, and now they think they're basically the shit, and then
Mhm.
eventually something happens, and then now all of a sudden they're dropped right back down to where it's like they're begging for to get back into that space, and it's crazy what has been created with going viral, or social media in itself, where it classifies certain people as top, but the reality is they're so used to that space that when it's time to come back down, a lot of them can't handle it, man. And then it goes into, you see a lot of people go into depression, and it's, some
Mhm.
people bounce back, some people don't. Depression is something that's real. It's something that everybody at some point in their life has to deal with or dealt with. And, a big part of depression, what they don't tell you, and I've heard this from, I want to say, David Goggins, and it's
Mhm.
true. You are in your mind 24 hours of a day. So, people go through loss of love, loss of a family member, and you can go and you can talk to people, you can, get therapy, you can go through all of that. But again, you're going to be in your mind, in your space by yourself at some point. So you have to be the one to kind of dig yourself up out of that, and
Yeah.
again, a lot of people, and that's something serious when it's a loss of life, or a loss of of a relationship, or different things
Mhm.
like that. Yeah, it's you can bounce back when it's a relationship, but it's still hard. A lot of people,
Definitely.
been with people for years. A lot of people love hard, and it's hard for them to get over that, and they go
Mhm.
through a depressed state. And you know when you're in that mind state, and then you're putting out maybe negative content or things like that, you're having people that's fueling. Like, I just saw something where this guy was just eating, and people were sending him money to continue this eating. He was just stuffing him, you know what I mean? And it's like he doesn't realize, he's killing himself. He's making money, he's getting popular off of it, but at the same time, these people that are sending him money, they're not sending him money to stop or to get help. They're sending him money to keep going because it's enjoyable
Watch
to them.
him self-destruct.
It's like, I remember hearing about some girl was in a car accident with her sister, and she killed her sister. You would think a normal person, the first thing they would do, they would get on the phone and call 911. No, she got on the phone and went live. And it's like, damn, it's that
Mhm.
serious for you, so
Or people just desensitized and, just dumb.
yeah, it is. So, people get in that depressive mind state, and they don't know how to bounce back, or, they get a bit of uh, publicity and fame, and
Mhm.
they just get to this point to where they can't relate to the everyday person, and it's at a point to where they're going at this at the everyday people, what I mean, trying to ridicule them, try to
Yeah.
embarrass them just to go viral, so, and then when that shit turns back on you, that's when you see a lot of people, crying and begging, and and it's just at
Mhm.
that point, it's just like, I don't know if I can't say it's too late, but in some sense it is too late, because now that tag is on you. Now we
Mhm.
really get to see who you really are. So
People underestimate that digital footprint for real.
yeah, Yeah. I tell
Like
people,
the
man, be careful
internet don't
because
forget
there's
anything.
cameras everywhere nowadays. Everybody's
Yeah,
recording, everybody's watching. So you really have to be careful what you say and what you do. But at the same time, I'm one of those people because I'm that way. I'm a realist. Like I believe in authenticity. Like I'm not going to not speak my mind or say how I feel. I just know nowadays it has to be worded in a way to where I'm not explaining myself, not necessarily about if people
yeah,
getting offended, because people gonna get offended about, you could be talking
mhm,
about anything and people can get offended. That's just the
yeah,
nature of life. But it's one thing of somebody being offended, and it's one thing where you're like kind of just singling out one person or one group,
mhm.
and that's something that, of course, I wouldn't want to do. So
Yeah. No, I get that.
yeah. So you were talking about
Moving on though.
fear. Yeah, you were. Let me ask you this,
Yeah,
because you
I
were
was about
talking
to
about
say.
fear. Oh, are you about to say that too?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. Okay. How do you overcome your own fear? Whether it's, sports related, whether it's life related, relationship related, just being a young black man in America today. Um,
Mhm.
how do you deal with it, and how the experiences that you went through, how has it helped and shaped you today?
Okay, so I feel like a big reason that I have been able to overcome a lot of the fears that I may have, whether that be like, a lot of people have fears of poverty, fears of death, fears of loss of love. My biggest ones are definitely like loss of love, and I would say death. But as I've come to overcome these things, those are things that I've, experienced, and I've had to bury different family members and friends. So I've had to understand that, as with life, there is death, and that is something to be happy about, something to be proud of. That you were able to experience people, to be able to experience their love, their time, their kindness, all that they were able to offer in this world. So just being able to find solace in that fact that, like, okay, I should be appreciative as opposed to mourning their loss, being more of a celebratory, then that's something I was able to overcome some of those biggest fears. But how those things, like regular fears or any other fear, I won't say regular, but any other fears that may affect another person, maybe a little bit stronger, like, poverty or ill health, those type of things I really don't let have too much of an effect on me because they're out of my control. Like there's
Yeah,
things that I can't physically stop. Like God forbid, if I was diagnosed with something that is incurable, then that's something that I lived the way I was taught how to, the way that I saw fit, the way that I believed was to be right, and I was unfortunately just had to deal with something that was what it was. So I feel like
yeah,
that those are things that I can't stress or find myself very anxious about. You know, I could have that, or I could experience this, or this thing could happen when I go to this place. So I just try not to worry myself with things that are out of my control. And that has found me, like, give me a lot closer relationship to God because if God is telling me, like, okay, this is something that I can handle, this is something that I've experienced, this is something that I've seen people walk through, experience, and come out stronger, then there's nothing that I can't do at the same time. Like, if there's something that people say you can't do it, and I've seen people from my own eyes do it through walking through God, through faith in God, then that's anything that
then it can be
that
done.
shows
Then it can
that
be
it should
done.
show you right there that it can be done
Yeah,
and it's possible. If there's a will, there's a way. So there's my thinking about it. So I don't really have those fears that are out of my control. Anything that I can't control, then I should have no fear of it because I'm in control of it. So that's really how I like
exactly,
to look at fears. How about you
exactly.
though?
And
How do you feel like you handle those things?
I mean, well, to piggyback off what you said, you made a great point. There's things in our life that we can control, and then there's more things that we can't control. And the things that
Mm,
we can't control, we cannot let it get us to a point to where we're stressing about it, worrying about it, becoming unhealthy about it. You
yeah.
got to look at it. You can only control your reactions and your emotions to those things. So if you decide to get angry because the weather is not the way you want it, it's like why you can't control the weather. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can look at it and plan around it, but at the same time, look how many people go outside thinking it's gonna be nice, and then it starts pouring down rain, and they don't have nothing, to cover themselves. So
Mhm.
they get frustrated and mad about that, and then that affects their entire rest of that day. And it's like, well,
Yep.
why? That's not something that you can control. For me, though, with fear, I think the biggest thing for me, because we all have experienced it, what I've learned honestly is just to put myself into it, walk
Mhm.
myself into those situations. And I don't necessarily mean dangerous or life-threatening situations, but for me to overcome the fear, because if I don't overcome certain things in my life, it's going to always play in my mind. So in
Mhm.
order for me
Okay.
to move away from that, I may have to go through that. It may be, a lot of times I felt like when I was going through something, whether it was relationship wise, life wise, could be at work, I've always had strong faith. I've always trusted God. A lot of the times I thought I was by myself, but I wasn't. I know He was there with me.
Mhm.
But I think it was also things that I needed to see that He wanted me to see, and
Yeah.
the presence of God is around you when you're going through something and you kind of feel like nervous about it or worried about it, but you're still going through it,
Yeah.
and when you realize it, it was like, wow, it wasn't as bad. I made it more in my mind than it really actually was. So for me, it's just always been keeping that faith. Now, when it comes to a loss of life, and I've experienced that more as an adult than I did as a child, whereas you got to see it more as a child, and
Right.
you kind of it you go through life actually not knowing, but then at the same time you start to realize, okay, this is what this was about. And again, like you
Yeah.
said, you appreciate it. I think for me, as I got older, it started making me look at my life. It started making me look at my family, and realizing that we're not here forever. So
Mhm.
in that time period, do something for yourself to where when you leave, you're going to leave an impact. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about fame or any money or anything, but
Mhm.
you've left such a positive impact within yourself and within your family, within your community, to where when it is all said and done, you can say, okay, well, I lived the life the way I was supposed to. I lived the life that
Exactly.
God wanted me to, and I'm proud of it. I'm happy of it.
Mhm.
On that note, this has
Yes,
been Chapman,
sir.
the Royal Code,
Ah.
King to a Prince.